If you're in your 40s and 50s and you've been asking yourself and scouring all the YouTube videos looking for help on how to find your purpose now that your kids are grown up, you're in midlife, maybe you're retired, semi-retired, you need to stop putting that pressure on yourself. Ask yourself the question, who am I now that you're in this season of life? I'm 54 and I've been doing the same. I've been, rattling my brain here, trying to figure out what is my purpose now? My kids don't need me as much. What am I going to do with myself? And it just kind of dawned on me. It was like, I don't need a purpose. I don't need to have a task, a job, a role. My role is now to just be who I want to be, figure out who I am, and going back to all of the things that I loved. So today in my video, I'm going to share for you a roadmap. The roadmap is going to be about how you are going to figure out who you are, what you want out of this next chapter of life. And I got thinking so much about this myself because it's about remembering who you used to be and bringing all of that back. So if you are in that situation where you are in midlife, you are feeling like you've lost your purpose because your kids are grown, you don't have a lot of responsibilities for the family anymore, and you're just trying to figure out where you land in the world now, stick with me. I'm going to share the steps that you need to take for you to help figure out who you are and what you want out of this next chapter in life. Step number one is that you should stop asking yourself, what should I be doing? Instead, I want you to ask yourself, what do I want to do? And if your immediate reaction is, I don't know, that's perfectly normal because you're so used to, what does my husband need? What do my kids need? What does my boss need? What should I be doing? You need to retrain yourself. I've got some homework for you. We're going to start small. So this week, grab a piece of paper and a pen. You're going to make some notes. So what you're going to do is ask yourself 3 questions every day and write it down. So your questions are going to be, what did I enjoy today? What drained me today? And what happened or when today did I feel most like myself? So write those down. Don't overanalyze them. Don't study them. Just every day, answer those 3 questions and write them down. Then at the end of the week, take a look through what you've written down. And you're going to start to notice a pattern probably. And this is when you're going to analyze and kind of take a look at what you wrote down. And in that pattern, that's when you're going to see things that you maybe need to change. You're going to recognize what's dragging you down, what's making you happy, and what is making you feel more like yourself. And with those notes that you've made, use those to start implementing changes. Step number 2 is to remember who you were before you became a wife, a parent, and write these things down because this will also give you some clues. And to get you started, it could be, what did you love? What were you curious about? What did you dream about? Did you want to travel? What were your plans for the future? What did you do for fun? What kind of music did you like? Did you like art? And write all of these things down because then you're going to do an assessment and you're going to start looking back on all of the things that you've written down and start taking some action. Because you're going to look back at this list and you're going to ask yourself, is there a piece of that woman that I used to be and I want to bring back now? And in many cases, the answer is going to be yes. So look back on your list of all of the things that you used to love and the way you used to be and bring that person back. And this isn't about us trying to be young again. It's more just about trying to reconnect with who that person was and bringing back some of the, the curiosity, the fun, the sense of adventure. Because along the way, as a wife and as a parent, we forgot who we were. We forgot how fun we were. We forgot about all the things that we loved, and we sacrificed and gave up so many of those things. Step number 3 is to figure out what you no longer want. I think this is a really important part. And as we get older, we have decided what we no longer want to tolerate. So again, write down, make a list and make 2 columns. And then in your 2 columns, you're going to have the things that you do want in your life and the things that you don't. And, on the what you want more of could be that you want more time alone, you want to travel, you want to have creativity, you want laughter, you want learning, you want to be with friends that bring happiness and joy. And then on the do not want side is that, no more people pleasing, no more dealing with problematic family members, no more guilt, no more rushing around, no more comparing yourself. So make that list for yourself. And then again, you're going to evaluate your list at the end of the week. And everything that I'm sharing today, these are tangible changes that you can make. And the more that we invest in ourselves, it's only going to improve our lives. Step number 4 is to try things without turning them into life's plan. And just think back to your kids. You signed them up for everything. You signed them up for dance, ballet, gymnastics, swimming, you name it. They tried everything, but it didn't mean they stuck with everything. It's just that they tried everything so that they would have kind of a taste of what was out there. And then maybe they, focused on one thing or two things. That's what you need to do as well. Just try something. It's like an experiment of finding out again what you really want and what you want to add into your life to bring fun, the creativity, the adventure, and all that stuff. And don't decide after one try that it's not for you. Look at it as an experiment and give yourself permission to experiment, because it's basically you trying things out, see if you like them. It's you gathering evidence to support what you're going to do for yourself in the future, and try things that you normally wouldn't try. So go back to who you were before, all of the things that you loved doing before marriage and family, but also add things in that you maybe would never have thought to try. I almost forgot. Hi, I'm Lori, and this is Ever After 50. I am a midlife working mom, and I have 2 young adults that are still living in the home. I'm trying to launch them off into the world. I am trying to figure out who I am again now that I'm not needed as much at home and have less family responsibilities. And I'm just trying to redefine my marriage, old friendships, and just figure out what this next chapter of life looks like. So if that's you as well, I hope that you'll subscribe and follow along on my adventures here. I like to share everything with you. Step number 5 is to create space for yourself. And this one is so hard when you've been used to doing everything for everyone else and never having time for yourself. But you need to have that time to just be in your own thoughts and ask yourself the questions, never mind how everyone else is doing. How am I doing? Am I doing okay? Am I happy? Am I feeling fulfilled? So ask yourself those questions. And, a lot of people start doing journaling and writing their thoughts down, writing feelings down. And I've talked so many times in my videos about being comfortable doing things alone. And I think part of that is that you do need to just have that time for yourself to think through your own thoughts. And I think it's so important. It's great to have friends and acquaintances to go out with. I've talked many times about, the situation with friends in midlife as well. But I think most importantly, being comfortable doing things alone and being alone. Give yourself permission to be alone. It's okay to go and want to do things by yourself. It's okay to want to go for a coffee, to sit and be at peace. It's okay to go through the park with no music on. It's okay to go alone. Just give yourself permission that it's okay to have that time for yourself. Step number 6 is to stop building your life around who you used to be or who you've always been. And this one's really hard because you have to allow yourself to change. You have to allow yourself to progress, to be different, to change and evolve. And a lot of us, yes, we're going to reflect back on who we used to be, and we're going to bring some of those characteristics back, when we're trying to figure out who we are now in midlife, when our kids have grown up, bring back that curiosity, that sense of adventure, all of the things that you used to love doing, but also create this next chapter, including something different, something new, instead of just going with the motions, doing what you've always done, being who you always were. And I actually had this conversation with my husband the other day, and I said, I've never lived anywhere else. I've always lived where I live now, in the same city. I never got that opportunity to go and, try something new, to go explore and just be somewhere for the first time and trying to figure things out. I've also worked at the same company for 26 and a half years. I want to change. I want to go somewhere else. And so these are things, I don't want to just be that same person. I want to do something different. And you have to give yourself permission to do something different. And it's okay to change. And it's also okay to want more or less or whatever you decide this next chapter is going to be. You're going to look back at your list. That's what you're going to start implementing. You're going to make the changes of, how you want maybe the next 5 or 10 years to look. And you want it to look different than what it has been. Your life starts to change when your daily choices start to reflect more of who you are. Biggest step is changing your mindset. You have to stop asking, what does my husband need? What does my kid need? What does everyone else need? It has to be about, what do I need? What do I want out of my life? What do I want to change? What do I want that makes me happy? It's about now prioritizing yourself. So if you're still sitting there thinking, what is my purpose? What am I going to do with the rest of my life? Take that pressure off of yourself. It's not about figuring out what you're going to do for the rest of your life. It's about figuring out what you want to do for yourself. It's about finding yourself. It's about doing things that you enjoy. It's about trying new things, going on adventures, creating space for yourself. And then with that, starting to create a life that's more about you and not about everyone else. If this video spoke to you, let me know you're here in the comments. I'd love to know what you are going to try to create space for in your life. And if you did make it to the very end, thank you so much. I do really appreciate that you've taken the time to watch the video. And until next time, bye for now.